Welcome to the Fantasy Football Forge, and we're going to get Rankings Day started a day early here on Tuesday with the quarterbacks, because with all the quarterback injuries and uncertainty going forward, there's probably going to be some scrambles for quarterbacks in some leagues. I wanted to get this out because in my waiver wire video, I did have a long list of potential guys, and I generally don't look at 1 week, and so here at least we're going to be looking at the rankings for this week so you can make a better decision on the waiver wire. Hopefully, all of my other videos, so 3 more videos will be coming out on Wednesday. Those are the tight ends, followed by the running backs and the wide receivers later on in the day. They will come out probably 2.5, 3 hours apart from each other throughout the day. In here, what we are looking at is, this is my ranking, and I do have them in tiers by color, and I have 4 tiers, but one of them's kind of split into 2 different levels of certainty within that tier, so we'll get over that shortly. Then, of course, we have the player name, the opponent, and here is the matchup difficulty of this opponent, and here is the ECR. This is the expert consensus ranking. This is where I start from, move them around, and then I did do my projections already, which you can find up on the website www.theFFforge.com as of Thursday, as soon as I can get them out on Thursday, but I do have a dentist appointment early Thursday, so it might be a little bit later this week, but I'll do my best to get that out, maybe even Wednesday night if possible, but it's a full slate, so a lot of projections to do. In those projections, you can also find my projected range, which is just like that single projected number, except it's a range, so there's a little bit more accuracy to it. And then here is the difference between myself and the ECR. The ECR is the expert consensus ranking as from Fantasy Pros website, and I'll talk about a couple of guys who I have the most difference with the current ECR. Of course, rankings are fluid. Things will change for both the experts and myself throughout the week, but this will be pretty close to what my ranking should end up looking like. Hopefully we can help you win the playoffs here in this first tier from quarterbacks 1 through quarterback 7. I'm very confident I'm starting these guys without thinking twice about it. And those quarterbacks are Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, and Dak Prescott in that order. At quarterback number 6, I have Justin Fields, which is 10 spots higher than the experts have him currently. Going up against Philadelphia, it's not a great matchup, not the absolute worst matchup in the world, but I am 4 spots higher due to probably the matchup here this week. And here's why I'm not so afraid of that. Justin Fields wins with his feet, a little bit different than most quarterbacks can do, so I'm very comfortable with at least the floor for him, plus he's coming off of a bye, so he should be feeling pretty fresh. I don't want to miss out on what's become a normal Justin Fields day, which somehow always includes like a 58-plus yard run for a touchdown. I don't want to miss out on that. So I'm comfortable putting Justin Fields out there despite a pretty tough matchup, and in all honesty, that could help too, because Philadelphia should be able to score against the defense and give some more opportunities for Justin Fields to probably have to put this team on his back in order to give them a chance to win. And then that's going to bring us up to my second tier of quarterbacks, which is really deep. From quarterback 8 through quarterback 19, I think you could make arguments for most of these guys against each other, depending on exactly what you're looking for. Derek Carr is just barely hanging on down here. So starting off at my quarterback 8, Tua Tagovailoa, followed by Geno Smith, Mike White, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, and then we fall down into guys who I'm a little less confident about, but still could definitely bring it this week, which starts at quarterback 15 with Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, and finishing that out at quarterback 19 with Derek Carr. And here we've got a few people. So Kirk Cousins, I have 4 spots behind the ECR. I have him ranked 11th. The ECR and him is 7th. He may move up, actually. So I have Geno Smith here highlighted for a reason. He's a big, major bust alert. I'm not so sure that I feel comfortable recommending him over Mike White and Kirk Cousins, at least here. At least Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, we can start to say, wow, those are really tough matchups. Brock Purdy's the only one behind him, or the first one behind him, that I'm like, yeah, for sure, start Geno Smith over him. And that brings me back to Kirk Cousins. I think I introduced that already, going up against Indianapolis. It's a pretty neutral matchup. Nothing great about it, nothing too terrible about it either. And so I do have a certain amount of faith in Kirk Cousins this week. I like him this week, actually. He just kind of got bumped back by a couple of guys, and that's about it. So there's no qualms about starting Kirk Cousins this week. I like him. Then Brock Purdy, who I have at 14th, is currently ranked 20th by the ECR, and going up against Seattle is a pretty nice matchup in a week where, I think the matchups are going to play a role in the end results here. We have some good guys going up against some good defenses, but I have them 6 spots ahead of the ECR, and a lot of this does come down to my projections, which is simply almost always just taking the naked stats of what these guys have done this season. So Brock Purdy has a pretty small sample size, and he probably overproduced in at least one full game there last week compared to what we should normally expect. So yeah, my projections were even higher than this on him, but I do have a certain amount of faith in it. I talked about that in the waiver wire too, just at least as a floor with that team, that offense, and how he's performed so far. It looks pretty darn good and comfortable in that system, and that has a lot to do with his success. So I expect that to continue a fair bit against a Seattle defense that's really been leaking for some time now. Then at quarterback 19, I have Derek Carr. The experts have him ranked 15th, so I'm 4 spots behind the experts on Derek Carr, and he's going up against New England. It's a really, really tough matchup. I actually also, I shouldn't say I like Derek Carr. I don't really like him. I did have him a little bit higher until I finished my projections, and he just sunk down behind a few guys is pretty much it. The projections had him a little bit lower, but you can't count this offense out ever because it can do good, and especially if Josh Jacobs is at full health here. New England hasn't been good against the run. That should at least put him into scoring range for Derek Carr to potentially take advantage of that and get some touchdowns, multiple, 2-3 touchdown game. So that's it for Derek Carr. Then I have a very small tier here as my third tier from quarterback 20 to 22. I have Tyler Heinicke, Ryan Tannehill, Andy Dalton, and these are the guys who I don't necessarily want to play. I don't even necessarily want to play them over all of these guys, but just based on what they've done this season and or the matchups, you have to have some sort of respect for what they can offer you, and so you're probably putting them out there and hoping for the best and not really expecting the worst either. That's the nice thing about this group. There should be a pretty nice floor for all 3 of them this coming week. And then that brings us to our final, second to last tier. Technically, I guess there are 5 tiers, but this is the garbage tier. But right here, at quarterback 23, I have Mac Jones, followed by Matt Ryan, Sam Darnold, Tyler Huntley, Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson, Desmond Ritter, and Colt McCoy at quarterback 30. We don't need to really talk about anybody, but this group has guys who I definitely expect several of them to outperform people all the way up. Potentially get some busts around this area would be not so surprising. So I do actually like these guys a fair bit this week. And then in my trash tier, I do have Kenny Pickett and Davis Mills. Davis Mills I've ranked 32nd going up against Kansas City, so that is a great matchup, something that we would actually almost expect at this point for him to potentially take advantage of. But the issue is he's going to be on the field like 60% of the time if they do what they did last week with the 2 quarterback system, and there was a report earlier today that they were going to be planning on doing that again. So that's why he doesn't qualify for this tier, because there should just be too limited of opportunities for him to produce, and 4 spots behind the ECR. The ECR currently has him at 28. There should be some movement here because there are several guys that have concussion. So I did end up ranking Tyler Huntley and Russell Wilson. Okay, so I feel like I'm missing out on somebody, but currently I do not have Russell Wilson ranked. I have Brett Ripien ranked, and he projected, in my projections or my projected rankings, he came out as 30th. And then I also I'm not currently ranking where are you? Kenny Pickett. I have Mitch Trubisky ranked, and the projected ranking for him was 26th. So just to give you an idea where those 2 ranked, but shouldn't be a big deal. I am currently ranking Tyler Huntley. There is a small chance that Lamar Jackson could come back this week. Hopefully, Baltimore's down to their QB3, but that's also a possibility. And then there is somebody that I am forgetting about for sure here who's got a concussion. Maybe they're above there. I don't know. But that is it for my projections, my rankings. Once again, projections up on the website, www.theff4.com, link down in the description. And I hope you all have a wonderful night, and let's get this out to you now.